good time to go live on air to share with you all some headlines, some news, world reports matching biblical prophecy. I just got done with the broadcast on live stream moments ago. I'll be sure to upload it here momentarily. But it was concerning the annexation of the nation of Israel, or it was concerning the annexation of the lands of Judea and Samaria that's been proposed and apparently is going to be acted upon by Prime Minister of Israel Benjamin Netanyahu and Blue and White Chairman Benny Gantz as early as July 1st, 2020. Have you all heard about this? Again, I just got done with the broadcast. I'll be sure to upload it. But apparently, I got some updated reports. You have Palestinians, and I got a report right here. It says here, Palestinians are threatening to declare state. They're threatening to declare statehood for the Palestinian Authority if the nation of Israel does annex the particular territory that they're promising to annex. Apparently, Palestinian Authority Prime Minister Mohammed Shnayi said on Tuesday that if Israel annexes parts of Judea and Samaria just as they proposed to do, now they've been talking about this since April 2020. And they're saying this is going to happen as early as July 1st. That's just right around the corner. That's what, less than 15 days away. Again, now you have the Palestinian Authority's Prime Minister stating, if Israel annexes parts of Judea and Samaria, the Palestinians would declare a statehood based on the pre-1967 lines and launch an international recognition campaign. Okay, this is going to be fascinating. Will this cause a war? Would this cause a third intifada? Last thing we need in light of all that 2020's brought us so far, right? Anyway, the campaign, he said, would include recognition of Eastern Jerusalem as the state's capital of the Palestinian Authority, or the Palestinian statehood, which would be the state of Palestine. Shtayi called annexation he called it a threat, a major threat for the Palestinians. Apparently, you have former senior U.S. officials stating earlier this month that it was unlikely that the Palestinian Authority leader Mahmoud Abbas would follow through on threats to cut ties with Israel, stop security cooperation, and even void past agreements if Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu continues with his plan to apply Israeli law to the Jordan Valley and parts of Judea and Samaria. Apparently, you have Harold Rode, who is a longtime former advisor on Islamic affairs within the U.S. Defense Department's Office of Net Assessment, stating that Abbas's threat to cut off security cooperation and end agreements with Israel is empty, since it is in Abbas's and other senior Palestinian officials' interest to continue the cooperation. Law professor Eugene Kontrovic of George Mason University School of Law called the Palestinian Authority's declaration comical. He went on to say that the Palestinian Prime Minister's statement today is just nothing but laughable. He says, once again, we are seeing the Palestinian threat to end agreements with Israel, which they never honored in the first place, which they repeatedly claim to have already ended while still claiming their benefits. The threat of declaring a state on 67 lines is comical, as they have already claimed a state on all of Israel multiple times in the past. It just shows that the Palestinians have no more cards to play, unquote. Or it shows that they're ready to finally start playing a real game. I would not take the threats coming from Mahmoud Abbas lightly in light of all that's taking place, or his prime minister, because this is quite serious when we're talking about annexation, when we're talking about a seizure. Now, I find it interesting that Netanyahu would seek to annex something that already belongs to them. Now, of course, many say that it doesn't. It's being occupied, and so now they want to go out of their way to declare it theirs, confirm it as theirs. But it's I don't know. The timing of it is very unusual. What can happen? The risk that's being taken. Don't forget the peace agreement, the peace deal of the century that's supposed to be unveiled soon again, and more. But I find it interesting that the Palestinians would declare a state based on the pre-1967 lines, because that would be their their retaliation to try to make the state of Israel no longer a sovereign state, or at least borderless, to say the least. Would people be on the side of the Palestinian Authority? Absolutely. I believe the United Nations has been, waiting in the wings for this to happen. Could this cause a war in the Middle East? Yes, I think it can. Where would the U.S. Side on this? That's a good question. They want to come in as a peacemaker. I'd say the Trump administration right now wants to come in as a peacemaker. Not sure how what will happen. They're going to try to say that they're not going to choose any side, although we know that they're going to seek to take both sides. It's not even, they're not going to try to take Israel's side. They're not going to try to take the Palestinian Authority side. They're going to try to take both sides. So time will tell very soon. Again, this annexation is expected to take place as early as July 1st. So we will do our best to keep on top of this report. Again, if you're just tuning in, I wanted to give you all an update. I just got done with a live stream on Israel seeking to annex, Judea and Samaria, and now an update. Palestine's, you have the Palestinians threatening, saying, listen, you do that, we will declare ourselves a state. We will have the United Nations in agreement with us. It will be internationally accepted. And you're basically going to have a war on your hands. You're going to be we will declare a state based on pre-1967 lines. You will no longer be a nation. We will declare East Jerusalem as our capital, and it's going to get serious. It will be in writing. It will be confirmed, and that will be an opportunity for your enemies to come in and launch a war, launch an all-out attack on the state of Israel. It's Bible prophecy, Zechariah chapter 14. All nations will be gathered up against Jerusalem in the end times. And so it is. So here we are. All right, listen, I want to say hi to you all. I see we got so many tuning in right now from all over. And, God is good and his mercy endures forever. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I don't think I'll be saying names right now. I'm just checking some of you all out here. Shalom. And thank you for tuning in. All right, so I got another report to share with you all. Signs in the sky. Come on. Jesus said one of the signs of the times in the Gospel of Luke chapter 21, verse 25, that there will be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth the distress of nations, the seas and the waves roaring. We just got done with a strawberry moon, which was basically a blood red moon. I saw it for myself. It was a lunar eclipse. It was only supposed to be shown in certain parts of the world, Australia, and a couple of other large nations, and we here in the U.S. it was seen a day or two after. It was 2 weekends ago, and now this solar eclipse, ring of fire, to appear the day after the summer solstice. Newsweek has reported this month a spectacular ring of fire solar eclipse will be visible from some parts of the world just a day after the June solstice. Solar eclipses occur when the moon moves between the sun and the earth. The stars light and casting a shadow on parts of the earth, and the shadow is never big enough to cover the whole planet at once. Apparently there are 4 main types of solar eclipses, but the one that will begin on June 21st at 12:47 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time is known as an annular eclipse. These astronomical events occur when the moon is at apogee, which is as far as its distance from the earth and passes directly in front of the sun. At maximum eclipse, the moon's disk covers the vast majority of the sun, apart from the star's far outer edges, which remain visible as a ring of fire in the sky. The ring of fire will only be visible to people living along the center line, which begins in the Republic of the Congo in Central Africa, extending through countries including Ethiopia, Pakistan, India, and China, and ending in Taiwan. So there it is. Solar eclipse, ring of fire, to appear the day after summer solstice. The ring of fire is a term we've been hearing a lot. You have the ring of fire, which is around the Pacific Basin, the horseshoe ring, which has over 75% of the world's volcanoes, 95% of the planet's earthquakes happen at the ring of fire. We also know the ring of fire is a term that's used during a mother's birthing of a child in a medical field. And it's also Bible prophecy, labor pains. The earth is laboring. Laboring in these end times because the day of the Lord is at hand. So much happening on the world scene. Do any of you work at Walmart? I got a report. Apparently Walmart is looking to remove all cashiers from stores. You heard me correctly. Walmart. They're going all out in their technology, in the removal of cashier workers. Hopefully you have found yourself to be expendable, especially in light of such high unemployment rates happening in the U.S. The report has come in just earlier today, I believe. Walmart is testing a store that will only offer self-checkout, and eventually they want to do this again throughout all of their stores. The retailer is removing cashiers and standard conveyor belt lines at one of its popular superstores in Fayetteville, Arkansas. They're going to start there. And Walmart says it is an attempt to see if checkout times are faster while limiting human interaction in the age of the coronavirus. Workers will still be available to help customers who have trouble doing the checkout themselves, but depending on the success of the test run, Walmart is expected to expand the program to all of their stores. So Walmart is testing self-checkout only, again, starting in Fayetteville, Arkansas. It's going to rapidly move across the U.S. And so, you know, this is going to be interesting. This is going to help with the unemployment numbers, without a doubt. Apparently, the retailer recently launched a touch-free payment system also aimed at helping mitigate the spread of the coronavirus. Health officials are ordering the closure of a Walmart in suburban Denver in April after 3 people connected to the store died after being infected with the coronavirus, and at least 6 employees tested positive at that particular location. So, you know, that's news there, folks. I mean, right now we're looking at, you know, a utopian society of technology, you know, taking over jobs. And this was something that we've talked about here at Open Your Eyes, people, for the past 10 years. It was going to happen. We don't like it. You know, I see a question coming in, is this going to be temporary or permanent? It doesn't say either or. It just says that Walmart looks to remove all cashiers from stores. So right now it's a test run, and it sounds like it's something that may, if it works out, it's going to be permanent. That they're looking to do, again, to all their stores. I'll be honest with you. You know, I shop at Walmart, and, you know, I found that when I do my own checkout, it's just much more convenient and hassle-free. I don't know why. I've avoided the cashiers for quite some time. So, you know, that's just my own personal preference. But so I find this very interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens and how far it goes. That's for sure. Parts of Beijing, speaking of the coronavirus, parts of Beijing are locked down again as the virus outbreak gathers a fresh pace. According to reports, all indoor sports and entertainment venues were shut down in China's capital on Monday as authorities are racing to contain a coronavirus outbreak linked to a wholesale food market with some neighborhoods placed under complete lockdown. Sounds like a repeat. It is. It's part 2, apparently. Again, this report just came out earlier today from the AFP. The outbreak came after China had largely brought the virus under control following its emergence in the central city of Wuhan late last year, highlighting the global risks associated with the second wave of infections. And so now you have a capital on lockdown. Again, Beijing, which is a huge city in the nation of China, has put in complete lockdown indoor sports and entertainment venues, and they've been ordered to close. You have the municipal party committee that said this at a press conference just earlier. Well, it was Mondays. It's, you know, Tuesday now. But city official Zhu Qing told reporters that all areas must strengthen public space disinfection and temporarily close sports and recreation indoor facilities. This coronavirus has been nothing but a test run for the New World Order's Antichrist beast system. It has been such a pain in just every area you could think of. It's just been annoying. And they just have to pick something else. Seriously. It's so obvious what they're doing. So obvious. Apparently, airports, you can't even fly. I just saw the report earlier today. Let's see if I can dig it up here real quick. Hold on. Okay, they're not typing? My computer's not typing. I want to bring you all the report. Seriously, it's not typing. What's going on? All right, let's see if I can find it then. Ah, there it is. U.S. Airlines are threatening to ban passengers who break the no mask policy. Not cool, especially if you have to fly and you refuse to wear a mask for whatever reason. Can I just remind us all that not everybody wants to wear a mask and not everybody can wear a mask? There has been so many people that have been so angry at people who refuse to wear a mask, and I'm like, oh my gosh. They're harassing people in stores that don't wear a mask in certain areas of the U.S. And they're claiming, oh, if you don't, if you don't care, you're trying to kill us. If you really cared about society and mankind, you'd wear one. But there's so much wrong with that. First of all, we shouldn't be harassing each other for wearing a mask or not wearing a mask. Secondly, you're not putting anyone in danger any more than someone who is wearing a mask, because if you're wearing a mask, to me, you may be infected. So it's like, why are you wearing one? Why are you out here? I mean, it could go either way is what I'm saying, okay? Thirdly, not everyone can wear a mask. There are people who really cannot wear one for maybe health reasons. If you suffer with asthma, if you have a lung condition, some may be claustrophobic. And of course, you may not have an underlying health condition. You may just decide not to wear anything that covers your mouth and your nose, because that can be a health hazard. It could lower your oxygen levels. You can actually become dizzy. You can be breathing in your own carbon dioxide. So, not everybody can wear a mask and not everybody wants to wear a mask. And I think that we have to I really believe, because of how out of control this mask thing is, that now it's becoming mandated that you must wear a mask in stores depending on where you live. You must wear a mask to leave your home depending on where you live. It's gotten so out of hand. I really believe that the U.S. government needs to step in, because again, not everybody can wear a mask and not everybody should, or not everybody wants to wear a mask. Again, I'm saying this in light of the latest report. U.S. airlines are threatening to ban passengers who break no mask policy. I want to read this report to you. It just came out a few hours ago. Apparently, passengers who refuse to comply with U.S. airlines' requirement that they wear facial coverings while flying could have their flying privileges revoked and even be put on the no-fly list. Okay, that's how serious this is getting. I really believe the U.S. government needs to come in. They need to sign an executive order or do some type of executive decision from the president's office stating that if somebody refuses to wear a mask, that they have a right to do that and not be punished for that, not be penalized for that. What I mean by that is that, if you refuse to wear a mask for whatever reason, that does not mean that you can't shop or you can't fly. That to me is insane. Unless we have entered the beast system, unless we are already officially in the Antichrist, New World Order, Fourth Kingdom beast system, this needs to be stopped. Because it's going too far. And there's no reason, because now I'm already, I'm already perceiving that there are some people saying, well, okay, if you can't wear a mask because maybe you have asthma, a serious case of asthma, or because you have a lung condition, or because it would actually inhibit your breathing, then you need to show proof for that. That is illegal. There is not one person that should need to show any proof of any medical illness that they have. We, as a matter of fact, this nation protects us. It protects our medical records from anyone seeking to dig into that type of information. It's to prevent discrimination. For instance, if you get hired, or if you're seriously being considered as a candidate, from an employer, no employer has a right to go into your medical records and find out if you have AIDS, or find out if you have cancer, or find out, if you have some kind of sickness or disease. They have to hire you based on your merits and based on what information you bring. Of course, if you're found out, fidging, if you're found out lying on your resume, then of course they have a right to know, to not hire you, but they can't get into your medical records. We have protections for that. So there's no reason why, again, I'm perceiving this in my spirit, there are already people saying, well, okay, if you can't wear a mask, you should have a card that shows I can't wear a mask because I have an underlying health condition. But that's illegal too. You can't do that. You can't, There's no reason. It should be your prerogative. And I know already there are people like, oh, well, if you really cared, how do we know you don't carry the disease? How do we know you're not asymptomatic? And my question to you is, how do I know that you're not? How do I know you're not carrying this? If you're wearing a mask, you're telling me you may actually have it. You're telling me that because you don't want to breathe on me. I mean, I don't want you to breathe on. We should be some kind of, there should be, some kind of, distancing apart anyway. What's it called? You have your own free space or what have you. But, I'm not going to judge you. Don't judge me. You wear one. It's not, I don't think you should. I'll be honest with you. I don't think anybody should be wearing a mask unless they are in, the medical field. Let's say if you're a doctor, you're performing surgery. Obviously, you have to take measures to protect yourself in that type of sterile environment. If you work in an industry that requires a face apparatus because maybe you're involved in, I don't know, coal mining or whatever field would require that type of thing, then yeah, of course you have to wear one. But if, in just going to the market, you're gonna wear a face mask, seriously? But you're exchanging money. You're exchanging, I mean, it doesn't make sense. It's so ridiculous. So I really feel strongly about this. I really believe that our government needs to step in because U.S. Airlines should not be threatening to ban passengers and even threaten to put them on the no-fly list for breaking no mask policy. There should not be a policy on wearing a mask. We should not be forced to cover our nose and our mouth, which is the only way that we breathe and allow oxygen in our blood so that we can focus on a daily basis. And if you did not have an underlying health condition, this could cause one. I feel very strongly about this. I'm really annoyed by this. Besides the fact that we're being told to cover our image, we're made in the image of God. We're being told to cover our face, which is a huge no-no. We should not be told that. Just as important is that we're being told to cover the thing that makes us breathe. I mean, this is stunning to me. People are working out with face masks, jogging with face masks. And I'm like, how are you breathing? Do you want to pass out? Do you really want to get sick? Do you want to cause your lungs to collapse? I mean, this is serious stuff. You're breathing, again, your own carbon monoxide or, what's it called? Your own CO2. Besides the fact it's your own bad breath. But still, you don't want to breathe in your own stuff. And it's really dangerous. So, it's gotten real serious. All joking aside, which I'm not really joking, but for passengers to be refused to comply or to have their privileges revoked, so now it's a privilege to fly. We allow you to fly. I mean, this is what they're basically saying. If you don't wear facial coverings, we will revoke your privileges of flying. I'm like, when did you give me permission to fly in the first place? Who are you? Did you give birth to me? Did you die on the cross over 2,000 years ago for me? You didn't. So you didn't give me anything. As a matter of fact, I gave you. I bought your airline ticket. Okay, I bought your seat. So it's like there's a forgetfulness, a willful forgetfulness here. And I pray it gets pulled back. I pray that we get a light shown here in the darkness because it's getting serious. And again, unless we have already entered the beast system, unless this is already the Antichrist beast system where no one will buy or sell unless they have the mark on their right hand or on their forehead, this needs to stop. Because right now there's a conditioning of the minds taking place where they're saying unless you wear a face mask, you won't be able to buy or sell. You won't be able to be part of society. And that to me, that's unlawful. That's unauthorized. And I have a right to speak and I have a right to refuse. And just because I have a right to refuse does not mean that you have a right to say I can't fly. Oh, well, then you can't fly. Oh, you can't shop here. Are you serious? That's discrimination. And then if you start to follow me and threaten me, that's harassment. This is bad. This really needs to be. I think somebody needs to sue, or the government needs to get involved. And I don't normally call on the government, but this has gotten so bad that the government needs to do something. They need to exercise an executive privilege and state that if you do not wear a mask for whatever reason, you will not be penalized. The stores have no right to ban you or discriminate against your facial mask of wearing one or not wearing one. I mean that. So I want to hear from you all. We have a church chat. We have a chat right now on Facebook. So I want to go to my Facebook page and see what you all have to say. Tell me your perspective, your opinion. Maybe you're somebody tuning in, you're saying, no, I think we should wear one. Tell me why, talk. Maybe you're one that says, no, I don't think we should. I want to hear from y'all. So let me go again to the chat, see what's going on. Renee says, the masks is all about obedience. Are you going to obey the government? It's a test. All masks available here in Kenya are not compliant to N95. Most masks being used will not protect you from anything but sawdust. See? And that is from someone tuning in from Kenya. Okay? So this is happening clearly, again, worldwide. Something we knew. But I appreciate your comment, Renee. Thank you. Carol says, my face gets hot when I wear a mask, so I don't wear one. Raul and Stella says it's crazy to wear one. Again, let me just say this too. There are people who want to wear one and they feel at peace with it. They feel like that's, I don't know, it just gives them, it makes them feel better. And that's fine. I won't judge you, but don't judge me for not wearing one. You have a right to wear a mask and walk into a store and get your items. I have as much as a right. We're not making anyone more sicker or not by wearing one or not wearing one. And I mean that. The Surgeon General stated that. The Surgeon General said that it is counterintuitive. It does nothing to wear a mask. As a matter of fact, it could cause more harm than good. So there are some people, again, that want to wear a mask, and that's their prerogative. I'm not going to go in your face and say, why are you wearing one? Snatch it off your face. I mean, nobody should ever do that. You have every right to defend yourself if anybody does. But, and at the same time, those who are wearing masks have no right to harass those that are not. Again, there are people who wear them and they feel better. There are others who cannot wear them, and there are others who don't want to wear them. It's gotten dangerous when you have now airlines stating that if you don't follow our no mask policy, or if you break no mask policy, we are threatening to ban you from flying, but we will put you on a no-fly list, as if now we're terrorists. And this is what we're being called. Now you're going to be called a terrorist if you don't wear a mask. Now they're going to say, well, you're putting the public in danger. I'm going to tell you, you're wearing one. See, now you're going to get me all started, because now you're saying I'm going to put you in danger for not wearing one, but you're wearing one, so that tells me you are a danger. That tells me you're afraid that you may have it. Why are you shopping? You should stay at home until you're ready to take it off. Because it's a whole thing. It could go either way. That's what I'm saying. The whole thing's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. And it's very dangerous of how far it's going. Tammy says, all churches are to be opened this weekend by POTUS. Well, all churches were never to be closed, says the Lord God of hosts. So with all due respect to the President of the United States of America, he's not a pastor. He's not a leader in the church. He is the President of the United States. So he has really no say with regards to opening or closing churches. So to me, I'm not impressed by that. The churches should have never closed to begin with. George says, I was not allowed to pay my phone bill in Nashville, Tennessee because I would not wear a mask. Ain't that something? And it's very rare now. Not everybody's paying their bills. So here you come in wanting to pay your bill while so many people are going in debt. They're not paying their rent. They're not paying bills. There are hundreds of thousands of people, if not, it's in the millions that are doing that. Seriously, the nation's going into a debt in a proportion that's so scary. And here you are willing to pay your bill, and they refuse your payment. They refuse you service because you refuse to wear a mask. That's discrimination. That is discrimination. Where are the attorneys? This is like lawsuit. This is like a hotbed for lawsuits. And I'm not one to, go sue, hey, go sue this person, that. But this is lawsuit because it's harassment. It's discrimination. They're discriminating. You can't do that. It's illegal. It's unlawful. Yeah, see, Deborah says, I'm with you, no mask. I have COPD. That's another condition I was going to mention. There are people who have COPD that they cannot cover, they have to breathe. But even if you don't have an underlying condition, you got to breathe. Again, unless you are in an environment, a sterile environment, or an environment that would require a face apparatus that would be that follows very stringent guidelines so that you're not putting any part of your major organs in danger. You have the proper face mask. This is ridiculous. And furthermore, if COVID-19 was so dangerous if it's such a hazard, this virus, there should be hazardous waste material buckets on every street corner and in every store to ensure that you dispose of your mask properly. If this thing is so dangerous to where now you have to distance and you can't breathe. I mean, come on, people. It's so ridiculous. And I see the agenda behind it, and it's not, I mean, I'm going to speak out about it. Jordan says they're preparing social control for the mark of the beast. Kristen says, I wear my mask. I respect those who don't. It's not like I can make them. Well, I appreciate you not going off on anyone who does not wear a mask. Again, we have to remember, for those who do wear a mask, now this is not to you because you're probably cool whether they wear a mask or not, but there are people who are wearing masks and they get angry. They're saying, they look at others who are not wearing masks and they feel like they want to, like there's such an anger spirit. They feel like that they're being irresponsible, and that's not fair because you're making, not you, but there are people who wear masks that are making a judgment. They're making, they're judging a thing before it's time, and they're assuming that the person wearing a mask is being irresponsible, and they may not wear what they're probably not wearing one because they can't. They're going to put their lives in danger. They could pass out within minutes if they actually cover their mouth and their nose. So they cannot. And now they're being refused service at grocery stores or at gas stations, or in this case, an airline. There are people who work, all they do, they fly. That's what their job is. They have to go from one state to another, from one city to another. And now you're going to threaten to ban passengers who break no mask policy? What if they can't? What if they have COPD and they're just trying to make a living? What if they love their job and they can't quit? But now you're going to put them in a position to quit or tell their boss, listen, I can't do my work because I'm being forced to wear a mask. And the boss says, well, wear one. He says, I can't because I have an underlying health condition that you should have never knew about. I have asthma, I have COPD or what have you. And so now the employer is going to see them as a risk that they should have never seen them because they were they were a star employee, but now all of a sudden their star employee goes down. It's ridiculous. Their status goes down because of something they should have never knew. It's too much info. This has to be done. The government has to step in and stop this. If it's not stopped, this thing's it's gonna go out of control to where, again, no one is gonna buy or sell, not unless they have the mark of the beast on their right hand or on their forehead, but unless they cover their mouth and their nose with the mask. It's ridiculous. It's not right. It's awful. It really is. It's ungodly. Geppetto says this is all part of the government plan. I hear what you're saying, and some may say, well, evangelist, you shouldn't get all uptight. It's all part of the plan. It's all part of control. Okay, I hear you. They may have a plan. It's in disarray. It's not orderly. But that doesn't make it okay, and that doesn't mean I'm going to be quiet about it. That means because it's actually not done in time, or the timing is off, I'm going to speak out about it. Like I said, unless we've entered a beast system already, they got to stop this. They cannot continue this. It will be stopped. This will not go on. Wisdom says, if it's not going to get any better, what's the point of the president hosting rallies? Yeah, apparently there's talks that President Trump says, listen, I want to host my mega rallies, make America great again rallies because, presidential elections right around the corner, folks. And, there's no hooping and hollering. So what's going to happen to the presidential election? That's a good question, too. George says, I refuse to live in fear because I'm told and believe with all my heart I'm called to not have a spirit of fear. Amen. You have every right. Amen. That's your right in Christ. And your right in Christ is not just in the church or to be kept in a closet. It's to be lived out every moment of every day. As long as you honor that right, God will honor you and you won't be messed with. And if they try to mess with you, they're gonna have to answer to the Lord. If God be for you, who can be against you? Come on. Joey says the airlines think it's a safety issue. They think they're being precautionary because they think they might have lawsuits against them. They're protecting themselves, but they're really not. I hear you. And they're probably going to use that as an excuse for justifying their no mask policy. They don't want to get sued. But the thing is that they could get sued either way. A person refusing to wear a mask could still sue them for putting their health in danger. Again, not everybody can wear a mask, and not everybody wants to wear a mask, and nobody should be, those who refuse to wear a mask should not be forced to now prove whether they can wear one or not based on a medical condition. The government has to step in, and I pray that they do. I really do. Because this is getting out, it's getting out of order. It's getting, there's a word I'm looking for. There's a usurping of an authority here that is not right. It's off. Renisha says, I'm in Virginia. We have over 100-degree weather here, and now they want us to wear a mask. Nope. You're right. Raul says, I was in the produce section buying vegetables, and a lady asked me, shouldn't you be wearing a mask instead around your neck? That's none of her business. I would have looked straight at her and said, ma'am, with all due respect, continue with your vegetable shopping. It's none of your business. You don't know me. I don't know you. You claim I shouldn't be wearing a mask, or you claim I should be wearing a mask. I believe you should not be wearing a mask. Why are you talking to me? I don't know you. You want to buy my vegetables? I mean, come on, people. That's what I'm saying. People have gotten so angry. There are a lot of mask wearers that have gotten a spirit of anger on them. Like they want to literally take that cucumber and knock you over the head for not wearing a mask. Seriously, it's gotten even violent, I think, in some areas. George says, you want to wear a mask? Cool, but I'm just as cool not to. I was at a dollar store and the lady in front of me said, I cannot believe you come out without a mask. I smiled and I just didn't reply. Yeah, it's kind of like you're put in a position not to reply, because if you do, they'll try to, become Satan. Which if they do, you could bind them, rebuke them. Cindy Lou says, isn't OSHA against a mask? Not just OSHA, but the Surgeon General is against a mask. Don says, our freedom's been gone, saints. Get ready. Freedom says, I had to get my head scanned to go into the Indian casino. I had to wear a mask, but if I was drinking or smoking, I could take it off. I only went to see the new hotel, but after that, from now on, I said I won't go any place that wants to scan my head. I bet that was weird. When they wanted to scan your head, you're like, what the heck? I mean, and it probably happened so quick you didn't know what would happen or how to react. And that sucks. Pardon my language. But it stinks that you would be put in a situation that something happened so quick and you have to try to react, and you're like, okay, did you just scan my head? What the heck? I just came in to check out your new location, It's crazy. That's unfortunate. Manuel says, 2 places I had to wear a mask. Well, bandana, the doctor's office, and Costco. However, Costco will provide me one if I don't have one. I rarely see any complaints wherever I go. You don't see complaints. You're right. It's very rare. I go into my store, I go into my local stores, and 99% of the people are wearing masks. And me, I'm like the only one. I may see 1 or 2 others that may not, depending on what store I'm at. The stores, there was a store that I would go to all the time that I refused to go to because they mandated masks, and they actually followed me when I didn't wear mine right at one time, and it was really weird that when I wore it, I said, I'm not going to do this, I can't do this, and so I refuse now to go into any store that don't. It's severely limited what stores I could go to, but I'd rather do that than cover myself. It was just very off. I couldn't do it, so it is rare that you see complaints. People are okay with it. Some people, I believe, have been brainwashed by it. Others feel more content wearing one. Again, that's their prerogative, but they should not be harassing or discriminating anyone who refuses to wear one.